Welcome back on the AM show. Thank you for making time to be with us. Water is life, but what happens when you don't have potable drinking water? Well, in the course of this discussion, we're talking about water in northern Ghana, and we're going to be delving into some aspects of some of the northern regions and delve into their water problems. Today, we journey with some of our correspondents to tell you about the water situation in northern Ghana that has left many living without it for weeks. First, we kickstart from the northeast region, where our correspondent reports a suspected waterborne disease that has hit Bumbwazio community in the East Mamprusi municipality. Now, the region is one of the most hard hit by the need for water of all the regions of the northern part of Ghana. And some residents have had to resort to what can only be described as filthy sources of water. Watch this.
7-year-old Fatima Musa is one of the victims of this suspected waterborne disease. She returned from the Nalirgo Baptist Medical Center weeks ago after a successful intestinal surgery, and her parents say she's in stable condition. It started with her suddenly vomiting a yellowish liquid. It was so severe that at a point she could not stand on her feet by herself. We rushed her to the facility at Langbinsi and we were referred to the Baptist Medical Center in Nalirgu. As soon as we arrived, she was taken to see a doctor who examined her and said she drank a contaminated water. So the doctor told us to inform our assemblyman about the situation. This 6-year-old girl, Rukaya Musa, is another victim in the community, also discharged from the Nalirgo hospital days ago. Her mother, Aisha Musa, who was with her at the hospital, spoke to Joy News. They put a tube through her stomach and brought out lots of yellowish liquid before the surgery. The doctor then told me that the water we drink in our community is harmful. Joy News in the community gathered that about 5 people so far are believed to have died from the disease since 2019. Yahaya Tani is a wife to one of the disease patients, an 80-year-old man who died last month. He was complaining of stomach pain and was vomiting as well. So the children took him to hospital, but he died there. The outbreak area is the community of Bumbwazio, a farming settlement of about 1,000 people located near Langbinsi in the East Mamprusi municipality. With no good road, electricity, health posts, water and sanitation infrastructure, the people are in desperate need of basic amenities. The community has 2 main water sources, a stream that runs at the outskirts of the community and 2 boreholes. A 3rd borehole facility, which was to be constructed by this NGO, has since been abandoned. However, people rely on the water from the stream due to all the time very long queues to the borehole water. This pregnant woman has just walked past the borehole heading to collect water from the stream. Because the pipe water is not enough for all of us. We are suffering a lot to get water to drink. We are always at the hospital as our kids, husbands and relatives are getting sick. We are pleading with the government to give us good drinking water, else all of us will die soon. At the stream, dozens more women have abandoned the boreholes and were here with their young girls to collect the water. Kasim Amina is a teenage mother claiming to have lost one of her twins to the waterborne disease few weeks ago. The doctor told me the water we drink is contaminated. She wants authorities to come to their aid with clean drinking water. It is still not clear what could have contaminated the water leading to the deadly outbreak, but Joy News found evidence of open defecation and other insanitary activities of the residents along the stream. We need the pipes to be situated at the back of our houses. We need it urgently to prevent further death. The assemblyman for the area, Bukari Baba, said he has filed a formal report inviting authorities at the East Mamprose Municipal Assembly to investigate the outbreak.
The case really escalated this year. Last year, it wasn't like this. We didn't even, they were having it within themselves. Those who went to have that kind of diagnosis, they were having it to themselves. Just this year that it increased and the number has increased. Therefore, they can't hide it again. From what they are saying now, we have more than 15 or 20 people who have diagnosis the same sickness. The one who went the last 2 years, that was 2019. He died. One also said the child died. One child is just by my at the back of my house. He also died. They sent him 2 days and then they diagnosed that the sickness was from the intestines, and he died before they could do the operation.
So how many people have died? Estimate?
They are about 5. One immediate thing I think they should do is to come and then test the water.
Now, from the East Mamprose municipality in the northeast region, we go to another region in the northern belt, specifically the northern region. And here, our correspondent Martina Bugri reports the only dam in Dungu near Tamale has dried up. The communities include Asawaba, Dungu, Nyohene, Bamaya, Paring, and the rest are Kunyavilla, Dungu, and Kukwo, and the UDS area as well. And this is the picture of exactly what is happening there.
The worry for these residents about where and when to get water in the coming days would be Herculean. Their lives will evolve around moving from one community to another in search of water. Women and children will have to spend hours in search. Mohammed Hafiz is a Form 2 student of Answaruddin Junior High School. He's just closed from school but has to begin drawing water so that he can fetch enough. He says he will have to increase the number of times he fetches so that by the time the dam dries up, they will still have some more to use. Hamza says the water is for all purpose.
We have in our area, we use it to build our rooms, and in cases we used to drink and wash our clothes. The pipes are not flowing. So we don't have a good supply water to drink and cook for our meals. People are drinking it, and animals too are drinking it.
A student of the UDS, Suleimana Abdul Jabbar, says they have had to rely on this water because they cannot afford the daily 2 cedis for a gallon of water sold by water vendors.
It has been a month since we have water shortage in this area. The pipe is not flowing anymore. And this is the only dam around this area, and we are depending on it. And as you can, when you come here around Saturday or Sunday, I bet you will cry. When you see us with the students, we are suffering here. And, some of the people in the community, they are selling waters for us. They'll go somewhere and bring the water. 1 gallon of water is 2 cedi. Okay. And imagine you are a student and you are going to spend all your money on this on buying water from the natives. So we are really suffering a lot around this area. This is the only dam that we have here, and you cannot even use this water to wash your hand. The water is also contaminated, and you are supposed to use it and wash your hand or cook something and eat. They should please come to our aid and help us. We need their help. They should support us. Just look at our school, UGS. So, if we are here studying and this river, or there's no water here, we are going to suffer. So we are appealing to NGOs and the government. Please, they should come to our aid and also get water for ourselves. We are appealing to them. They should come and help us.
Another resident, Zarao, says for the past 2 months, they have not had water run through their pipes, and so they have to go in search of water each day.
So that is the situation with them as well. On now to the OT region, but before we get into that, let me just let you know that if you happen to live in the northern belt of the country, even including the OT region I'm going to be talking about, you can actually reach out to us on WhatsApp. The number is 0540109009. I'll repeat that number for your benefit. 0540109009. Just shoot us a WhatsApp with a video or even audio telling us about your water situation. Just highlight it for us. In the course of the show, we're going to give ample time to that as well. We'd love to hear from you. Now, we move on to the OT region, where residents of Okumakra, Nyane and Abongo communities in the Krachi East municipality of the OT region are calling on the authorities to help end the perennial lack of access to potable water in these areas. Now, though there have been a number of boreholes sunk in these communities, they do not contain enough water to sustain the large numbers, while most of them have broken down. Residents queue for long hours just to get a quarter of a pan of water for domestic use. The residents in these communities currently resort to unwholesome sources of water, which are mainly stagnant pools of water with living organisms, which they also share with herds of cattle in the area.
We seriously need water. The borehole we have does not contain much water. Our wives are suffering a lot, so we plead for urgent attention. Water is life. As for water, we are really suffering. We have put this before our MPs most times, but this borehole does not contain water. The other one too has its metals rusted. We need a new borehole. Our women are suffering. Voices of residents in desperate search of potable drinking water. Residents at Okumakra have depended on this source of water for years, especially during the lean season where there are no rainfalls to collect. The Okumakra community has 3 boreholes sunk for them, but the only one currently active is with insufficient water to serve the community. Residents queue longer hours just to get less than a pan full of water. This borehole, which construction started 6 years ago, we are told, has been abandoned. The population is more than the borehole. This abandoned one was started 6 years ago. The first one too has broken down. The first in the community even sank at a place liable to flooding. It's also down with insufficient water to serve the community. It took a great deal of effort to get this half bowl of water, which also stopped flowing after a minute of rigorous pumping. It is avoiding this ordeal that the residents resort to depending on these unwholesome sources of water. When we pump the pipe, it does not flow. It is not helping us. It has not even lather when you wash with it unless you use a detergent. That is why we go down there to fetch.
Yes, sir.
This one, we add alum to it, then it settles down for washing. This one, because of the insects, we use our scarves to sieve it and then we drink. This is also heavily laden with tadpoles and other living organisms. After a few scoops, a dead toad was found, allegedly killed and dumped in by herdsmen to discourage the resident from depending on it so the animals could have full access. Our main problem here is water. It is a little better during the rainy season. We struggle with animals all the time and the water is mostly contaminated. I am a herbalist and my clients do not have water to drink whenever they come around. We are just appealing for potable water. Even for school children, daily struggle for potable water is affecting their academic work. The same situation prevails at Abongo and Umwani, just a few kilometers apart. At Umwani, residents queue for water at the only functioning borehole in the community. Just as Okumakura, it contains insufficient water. Those who cannot afford to wait for hours walk about an hour just for this. Equally unwholesome. Residents who are mostly farmers say lack of potable water in the community is affecting their farming activities. The water I would take to the farm is a major problem. I have not taken my bath since I came back from the farm because there is no water. Even our children are at home and there is no water to bath them. We need the government urgently to help us, else we are miserable. Until such time that these and many other rural communities get access to potable water, they continue to depend on the unwholesome ones that would have consequential effect on government budget. Peter Senu for Joy News.
We stay in the northern belt of the country, and in the Savannah region, the capital, Damongo, has recently reported acute water shortages. It's an age-old problem, but now it has been worsened by the growing status of the town as the capital of the new Savannah region, which was created in 2019. A promised town water system made by government to address the challenge is yet to kick off. Now, Correspondent Isaac Noje has been following the issue, but I want you to take a look at this video. It has some students actually rushing for water in the Savannah region. That is just how dire the situation is. All of them just struggling to get through, just to queue and get some water into those gallons. And that is the crisis we're speaking of. If you live anywhere in northern Ghana, we would love to hear from you this morning. We want to know it, highlight the issues, and put them out there for leadership to act. How are you getting water in these tricky times? Join the conversation on our social media platforms, on Facebook, on Twitter, using the hashtag AMShow. That is hashtag AMShow. In the meantime, we're joined by some of our correspondents to tell us more about these situations. In the northern region, we connect with Martina Abugri. In the northeast, we'll have Eliasu joining us. In the Oti region, Peter Senu and Isaac Noje in the Savannah region. Welcome all of you. Thank you for actually joining the conversation. But let's start from here. How have people been dealing with these difficulties? I think I'll start with you in the Oti region, Peter Senu, especially there when we saw the water bodies and what people had to do, the sort of water people were drinking. Peter, how have people been coping?
Man, it's difficult for people to cope under these conditions, but you know, it's a hopeless or it's a helpless situation for them. From my visit to these communities, they don't have any other alternative than to rely on this. And so when you go and you look at the situation and the condition under which they live with regard to access to potable drinking water, it's a serious challenge to most rural communities in the Oti region. And especially women who would have to work hard to put meals on the table for their family, they have to go extra mile to get water. Some people would have to travel to other communities by a motorcade or motorbike, and sometimes they are so much crowded or loaded in these motorcades, tricycles, which is also another thing we would have to talk about at another time. But it is such a situation for these rural communities to, kind of deal with. And if you look at where they get the water from, which is equally unwholesome, because the water is sometimes stinking, very smelly, they dig around it and then they feel that the water that gathers around, they collect it. For me, it is garbage in, garbage out. And so even if you dig around it, whatever comes out looks a little cleaner. It's still smelly and stinking and equally contaminated for these communities. And so it's a serious challenge for these communities to cope, especially water, which we all need to survive as living organisms. Ben.
Right. Now, this has been described as a perennial problem. Just how long have these people been dealing with this problem of a lack of access to potable water?
Well, most of them from childhood, the elderly people you speak to, they have been dealing with this for ages. Government comes, government goes. It's been such, a difficult situation for them in these communities. And so it is not a recent issue, and then they don't even see it ending soon until someone acts. They don't see an end to this. And so it continues, especially, this part of the Oti region looks more of the northern part. And so their season is a little difficult from the central part of the Den Volta region. And so as we speak, they are currently experiencing a little drought, no rains. And so it is difficult for them. So from November or October, November, when the rains stop, to June, July, they go through all these things, and then they rely on these unwholesome sources of water for daily survival, which is, for me, too bad for them to cope with.
Okay, let me cross over to Martina, who's in the northern region, our correspondent from there. Now, Martina, what can you tell us about the plight when it comes to residents in some communities in the northern region? How are they coping? How exactly are they coping? Martina, are you there? Maybe if you could unmute. Great. I think I can hear you, but it's a bit faint.
Northern always has when it comes to water, and most especially they are hard.
Who is the next person? Who? All right, so we'll reconnect with Martina. Let's go to Ilyasu Tanko now. Now, what can you report as far as this water discussion we're having? What is the situation in the communities that you've visited?
Well, the situation here in the Northeast region is a very difficult situation, and many people are familiar with this particular situation. Some in most communities are not really surprised at what they are currently going through. A case point where we are having a suspected waterborne disease in a community called Bumbazu, which is in the East Mamprose municipality. And it's a very difficult situation for the people there. As we speak right now, we understand 5 persons have lost their life as a result of drinking contaminated water in that particular community. It is not yet confirmed. Yesterday, the Ghana Health Service officials were in the community to begin investigation into this particular situation. And all the community members suspect the source of water that they drink. They believe that this is the only thing that they do in common, or this is the only, thing that they take in common. And so all the community members suspect that this particular source of water, might be the reason for this particular outbreak, so to speak. And so, and all over in the Northeast region, it's a similar situation, even in bigger towns like Wale Wale, Nalergo, Gambaga, where we recently have government-sponsored water supply systems. But the situation, as we speak right now, is very, very dire in these particular communities. And I can tell you that in most communities, water have run out, and they will have to struggle a lot, travel several kilometers in order to get water. But and when they get there, these are not good water. They will have to rely on a wholesome water source just for consumption. So I can tell you that the situation here in the Northeast region can be best described as very, very desperate.
Just for a bit of clarity, Ilyasu, now, can you describe the sort of water that these people are consuming, are drinking, are using to cook food? How would you describe the water that they've been, they have to actually consume? How would you describe it?
Well, I don't think there are very specific words to describe this water because, I mean, and the water, it differs in the communities. There are certain communities that depend on running stream, and as I speak right now, because of the long drought, these particular streams have run out, and you can see clearly from the one we witnessed in the Bumbazo community. This is just a stream believed to be the tributary of the White Volta running through this particular community. And that is where these people are fetching the water. We also found evidence of open defecation in that particular area. So that means this is a community, they have no, water or sanitation facility. And where the water source is exactly, that's the same point where these people go to defecate. And they also throw rubbish around this particular stream. And so you can see the water, this particular water, as you can see it, looks very clear, but when you get closer, you look at it, you see some, small particles in it, clearly indicating that this could be a very harmful water. But the people have no, alternatives. They have to rely on it. You go to other communities, you go to the water source, and for the lack of better description, the water looks very, very yellowish. You see a lot of dead animals, dead insects in the water, but the people depend on it. They have to travel several kilometers to reach this particular source. And they'll have to scoop sand, literally, in one of the villages at Yapabongu, which is in the Mamprugu Mwaduri district, where I visited recently. The people had to go to another tributary of a river to dig the sand, wait for a while for the water to come before they scoop. And these are very, very, very dirty water. And so when it's really a very tough situation all over the Northeast region, like I said, including big cities, Wale Wale, Nalirgu, Gambaga, Bunkurgu, where we have, water supply systems supplied by government.
Okay. Let me connect now with Isaac Nonye in the Savannah region. And interestingly, Damongo has a new status, becoming the regional capital. But it doesn't appear that has done much to change the perennial water problems that they have faced there. Tell us a bit about how the people have coped so far. Do we have Isaac? Isaac, please unmute so we can hear your response to the question. Please unmute.
Yes, Ben.
Great.
The situation here in Damago, for the matter, the capital of the Savannah region, is very, very bad. Just like other colleagues have put it here, Damago is known for its water problem from the early 80s up to now, especially last year where there was a drought. Many of the areas that people used to depend on, the dams, were dried, and then people had to resort to the few mechanized borehole in the municipality. Now, when you look at the stretch of Damago or the West Gonja for that matter, we have communities like Ladbanga, Mogodore, Murugu, Janaponto, Canteen, Sol, number 1, number 2, number 3. Most of these areas depend solely on the Dakar dams in the area. Now, when the dam became dried, they have no other thing than to travel distant communities about 5 to 6, 7 kilometers before they could get water. Let's say, as of this year, a gallon of water was sold 1 cedi. But I will speak, one goes for 1 cedi, 50 pesos. Now, this is also a municipality where you can say 80 to 90% of households don't have household toilets or latrines. And the open defecation is the order of the day. 2-3 years ago, the municipality scored 0. They were bottom on the chart of open defecation. And that explains why the streams and the dams in the area are unwholesome. Now, the development partners were able to mechanize fill boreholes. And how did those fill boreholes survive? They all spoiled within no time. They broke down. There were 2 other mechanized boreholes within these 2 schools, the Damago Senior High School and that of Indewura Dakwa Senior High School. As we speak now, they are broken down. And the students found it difficult having time for their books. They spend contact hours outside searching for water, and most of them who are girls, females, end up in the rooms of the male suspects, and it has become a very difficult situation for teachers and then stakeholders in the municipality to hold on. We look at Savannah region in general, it has this low water table problem. For a place like Bola district, that was the case. But there was this reverend father who came and worked it out and then mechanized the entire place. Now water situation in Bola is better. We can't say that to Salaga, and Sola and other areas. They are also facing similar problem. I would just say that the basic water source in Savannah region are streams and then duckouts. Apart from that, people can't just boast of potable water from mechanized boreholes or any other source, apart from going to the stream and other areas. We look at the rural districts. We talk about East Gonja and North Gonja. We're talking about like Daboya and that of Salaga. And the new region, Northeast Gonja, the Northeast Gonja district, close to Salaga. These areas also depend on duckouts. And once they don't have household latrines, you can imagine the danger they're facing. Now, we also realized that last year, somewhere in October, the government of Akufo-Addo came and cut short for the construction of a $49 million project, Damago Expansion Water Project. Up to now, this is the 10th month, no work on the ground. And the stakeholders are saying that, I'm talking about government representatives, the regional minister, and then the CEO of Ghana Water Company, Dr. Brahma Clifford, are saying that they were supposed to do this thing some 5-6 months ago, but they needed to bring certain things together to be able to push everybody ahead. The duration given has elapsed and no work is underground. So we will also face a situation where workers who have been posted to the region, mostly for the regional level, many of them have left. We can count 1, 2, 3, 4 of them who have left. Why? Because the water supply system in the metropolis, Damago Township, is very, very poor and dangerous to the health of people. Somewhere 3 months ago, if you go to the West Gonja Hospital, you see people with cholera cases. I spotted a friend who is with the Ghana Police Service in the region. He was equally helpful. Marcel was there with typhoid case, all because of the water. Now you have people importing water from Tamale and from Sachets. You can imagine the cost. And every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, people will import water from Tamale or to be able to drink because they don't believe in the source of water that they produce from the region as pure water. So this is the dilemma people are facing here.
So in other words, people are even importing water from other parts of the northern region. But let me just find out from you, even as we focus on the Savannah region. You mentioned that $40+ million project that government is set to initiate, which 10 months down the line has not materialized. But when it comes to the One Village, One Dam, program, have the members of the community, have they benefited in any way from the One Village, One Dam program? Break it down for us. What is the reality?
Then, apart from the Solar Tuna Kaba district, the rest are fiasco. Fiasco in the sense that if you move to, let's take West Gonja, for example, Murugu is the hard head. Murugu, Maunore, these areas, you go, you see the dam look like a stream. It's not well constructed, and the water will not even stay. If you go to Daboya, that's North Gonja, similar situation. That of West Gonja, Central Gonja, is a bit better. They have about 3-4 dams. But Solar Tuna Kalba is dominating with close to 10 One Village, One dams. But once they are dug from a distance that are not close to houses, people actually find it difficult accessing them. So if also look at that of East Gonja, and then we are talking about Salaga and then Salaga North. These areas, they also have water problem, very similar to that of Damago. So the situation when it comes to One Village, One Dam is not all that reliable. And stakeholders who try to talk about it don't have the courage because of political reasons. Even residents or habitants within these affected areas can't equally talk about it because the assemblymen can't take it forward. And when people outside their peripheries want to state their case or make it look like all is not well in terms of water supply in these areas, they are being heckled. And it is not something that people have the courage to talk about for it to be addressed.
Okay, so just to clarify, I just want a yes or no answer to this one. So in most instances, the dams are extant, they are available, but because of the distance, people can't use them. That's the reality. That's what you're saying.
No, not exactly. The dams are available in Solatuna, Kalba, and that of Novgonja districts. The rest don't have them. I mean, they are not visible. You see something like a stream, and water cannot stay there.
Okay.
Those that people cannot access are just through districts.
All right. So you can reach out to us on those numbers you see on your screen and tell us what your water situation is, especially if you're in the northern belt of the country. Of course, our call line 0302-211-961 extension 2 via WhatsApp 0540-109-009. Via WhatsApp, you can also share your videos or what exactly the picture is if you want to do that. If Martina can hear me now, Martina in the northern region. Martina Bugri.
Yes, I can hear you.
Great, loud and clear now. What is the picture when it comes to the water situation in the northern region?
The northern region has always had this peculiar problem when it comes to water. During the rainy season, we have floods everywhere. But right from October, the place gets dried up, and most dams, which largely rural communities depend on, dry up. This year was exceptional. High temperatures, sometimes ranging up to 41. Most dams dried up. And so community after community, these dams were all gone, and people had to dig the bed to scoop water. Sometimes you see this water run, they could pass for a chocolate drink, and people just draw it like that, and they go ahead to drink. In some communities, they didn't even have anything at all. Yendi, for instance, they had issues. They had to transport water from other parts of the region to Yendi because the Oti River that supplies water to be pumped to the area dried up, and there was nothing for the people. It is not just this year that we have had this. It has always been there, and people keep hoping that government after government will do something about the water issues in the region, but little has been done for the people.
So tell me, we've spoken about one village, one dam, and all of that. What measures have been put in place by establishment, by government to alleviate the situation? We know that the Ghana Water Company Limited doesn't reach all parts of the country, but what has been done so far in respect of one village, one dam, and what other projects are in place for the people to ensure they get potable water?
They have very small town water systems that supply some other towns, but most of them are broken down, and so it means that in these communities, they won't have water because the systems are down. When it comes to one village, one dam, most of those that were constructed, the communities themselves have described them as shoddy work done, and most of them could not retain water for them to use after some few months. And so you go to communities. I was in the community in Tamale, and in December, the dam was already gone, and the people had to look for elsewhere to get water. And so these dams, yes, they were constructed in some of the areas, but poorly done, and so the water does not last as it's supposed to be. Some traditional dams that were constructed years ago even served the people better than these dams that were recently constructed.
Now, we're told that this also impacts the price of water in some places, like we heard from the Savannah region. A gallon of water goes for 1 cedi, 50 pesos, and even some people import water into their communities. Is that the reality in the northern region as well? How much does a gallon of water go for?
Water, a tanker used to go, in February, a tanker was sold as 120 Ghana cedis. It moved to 140 Ghana cedis in April, and just this way it moved to 170 Ghana cedis. And so that's how fast it keeps moving. Fortunately, the rains have started, but the water is so milky, and people would have to just depend on this water because there is no other source that they can depend on.
Maybe my final bit to you right now, Martina. How has this impacted sanitation in the region, in the communities you visited?
Sanitation is a huge challenge. Now, most of these communities do not have toilet facilities, and so these people defecate anywhere and outside like that. The rains come, it washes everything back into the dams that they drink. But because there is nothing to rely on, they would have to still depend on them.
Well, so we've been exploring with some of our correspondents, and don't leave us yet, but we've gone to the Savannah region, the northern region, the OT region as well, and the northeast region as well. And we've been exploring the situation, the real situation of people when it comes to something as basic as water. We are talking SDGs here, access to water, something as basic as that. We'll take some of your messages that you've been sharing with us on Facebook, but don't you forget that you can get interactive with us. Call that number, especially if you find yourself in the northern belt of the country. What is your water situation? 0302 211 961 extension 2 or WhatsApp 0540 109 009. Let's take some of those Facebook comments now. And this one says, so many parts of, that was the question we actually put out there, many parts of northern Ghana have recently reported acute water shortages. Do you live in northern Ghana? That is not the northern region, the northern belt of the country. Are you affected? And tell us how you are coping. That's what we shared with the hashtag AM Show. Now let's check out some of the comments, the responses that have come through. Richard Osman says, the people of Saula are grateful to our Lord for a 24/7 flow. That's interesting because the reporter was saying that in some communities, including Saula, it's not that easy gaining access to water. So we'll have to, weigh both responses we are getting. If you are getting water indeed, then it's a blessing. This one is from fellow Ghanaians. Interesting. You say, I've never seen our tap flowing since my dad was transferred to the Savannah region 10 years ago. 10 years. And you say, yet someone is talking about, okay, so I see where you're going. But you're saying, basically, we're talking about SIM card re-registration while there are crucial issues to be tackled. Thank you for sending in that one. Boom Sparrow says, instead of taking responsibility and facing the real issues, they say we should fix our attitudes. I wonder whether the attitude was responsible for destroying the non-existing potable water. If it is not there, it is not there. Government is not religious and moral education tutoring. Neither are the citizens. Okay. And you say that is why governments must fix the situation. Right. Razak says, one village, one damano. What happened to it? That's Razak. Akosia Sewa says, okay, so let's move on. Frederick says, I'm from Buife in the Savannah region. Water issues are really a big challenge. But before we go on with the messages, we have a call. Abdul Kalui from the Savannah region. Abdul, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Great. So you're in the Savannah region. Where specifically in the Savannah region, and what is your water story?
Yes, this is Abdul Ghani Mankarbo calling from Doboya Mankarbo. I'm from Doboya Mankarbo, exactly.
Right.
It's like the water crisis in the various, especially the three northern regions, is very bad for us. We are just always, we are seeing people, our political leaders, especially members of parliament at the various constituencies, promising that they will give us the boreholes or potable water to drink. But up to now, day in, day out, you can hear people are crying in terms of water, especially secondary school. Example like Sankala, near to Centurion in Tamale, but Sankala is part of Savannah region. But if you go there and see how they are suffering in terms of water, it's very bad. But their member of parliament promised them that you will give them potable water. We all know that it's not the duty of MP, but they always promise for those things. But if we win, or after the election, he will come back and do those things for the people. But not very well. Without the people, you can't get the power. It's the people who give you the power. The only thing you can do, if they give you the power, you also to come back and support them what they need. At the end of the day, you want to follow the community. Just see the video. See how people are suffering. Our own matter is very bad in terms of water interval.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, Abdul Ganiu from the Savannah region. So we'll go back to social media and, wrap up with the messages there. But don't you forget, you can actually still call those numbers 0302 211 961 extension 2. It's on your screen, and on WhatsApp 0540 109 009. In your community, especially via WhatsApp, you can shoot us a video. Let us know what the reality is. So we'll check out more of the social media messages. Frederick Ahosu says, I am from Buife in the Savannah region. Water issues are really a big challenge. There is no major water plant in Buife, and all the boreholes are not having enough water for even domestic use. Now, this is a recurrent theme because as we spoke to our reporters, some of them said that, even some of the boreholes can't provide the needs of the people. And you add, even the boreholes are full of salt, which makes it undrinkable. We need water. So the water is hard, so to speak. It is hard water that comes out, salty water. If we have any other messages coming through on social media, we'll check them out. You can still reach out to us on Facebook as we pose that question with the hashtag AMShow. Ibrahim Basha says, I'm from Treponi. Our dam has dried out about 2 months ago. Nothing has been done about it, and it's affecting all the sub-districts. So I suppose that would be a 1v1D, a one village, one dam, supposedly. And if it has dried up, then that's quite a situation. Abdul Jalil says, I'm from Wale Wale. Our pipe water stopped flowing almost 6 months ago, while others almost 3 years ago. Interestingly, that is where His Excellency, the Vice President, is from. So I guess that's a bit of a concern there, Mr. Vice President. Your people are reaching out. And you see that immediately under it, David Nyemwa says, I don't want to just say Baumia, what is His Excellency, the Vice President, saying? Yusuf Sofo says, if you really want to stop water shortages, stop officials of the Ghana Water Company from owning water tankers. If not, nothing will ever change. So that's an interesting submission, because you are suggesting then that some of these people own the water tankers and so they are benefiting from it. And so until we take out that, factor, we're not going to go anywhere. Wow, that's an interesting submission. Let's look at some more messages. Haruna Brahma says, Damongo, we get water when it rains or from boreholes. Wow. When it rains, that's when you get water. Reindorf says, it's not easy in Yendi. We have Hassan on the line. Hassan, good morning. Hello, Hassan. Oh, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Hassan, if you can hear me, do call again. I'll be waiting for your call. 0302 211 961 extension 2. Reindorf says it's not easy in Yendi. Well, baby, I know it. Nana J. Kufuor Samuel, let's just scroll up and get that. I think government can use the White Volta to create a big dam for the northern regions and create 3 bigger dams, I think you mean. One in the western, one in central, and one in eastern. How can we leave our brothers? So if we could scroll up a bit. Right. So how can we leave our brothers in the northern area to die? We need to do a demonstration against this discrimination. All right. Hassan is on now. Good morning, Hassan.
Yeah, good morning.
Great. Where are you calling from?
Northern region.
Where in the northern region?
Kumbungu constituency.
Right. So what can you report from there? What is your water situation?
I don't have water problem where I stay.
Good for you.
Yeah, the water is flowing normal. Everything is coming from, everything is good.
Hassan. Okay, so Hassan at least is saying that for him, he has water in Kumbungu, and that is the situation. You know what? If you find yourself in Kumbungu, call me as well and let me know. Is that your reality? It's not to say I doubt Hassan, but I would like to have various, reports from different people to find out what the reality of the situation is. So to wrap up the conversation, I believe we still have Isaac, Peter, Eliasu, and Martina. Okay. So we're still going to await your calls while we take some messages, and we'll be wrapping up in a few minutes. Umar Ibrahim says, your government is using millions of your money to build a cathedral while people are suffering from water shortage. And the question is, if you don't get water to cook food, drink, and bath, how can you then be able to go to church? Okay, so your focus is on being able to go to church after having access to water. But that's our reality. You know, water is life and water is everything. If you want to process something, industry, you need water. If you want to cook, you need water. Of course, our bodies are about 70% water. How do we cope without it? And you see, when it comes to issues like this, the Ghana Water Company Limited does not reach every part of the country. But there are ingrained problems that we need to deal with. The CWSA, the community water systems, yes, they are trying their bit. You have the Catholic Relief Services and all of that doing their bit. But up until when? The SDGs, I remind us of that. They are part of our ecosystem. We've been dealing with them. When will people have access to potable drinking water? Some of these communities have gone decades without them. Why is that the case? We have Henry joining us right here in Accra. Henry, good morning.
I'm so much touched about what I'm seeing on telly. Yes. Yes. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Henry. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm so much touched. I mean, how can human beings be drinking such water? We have assemblymen in that area. You see, we cannot put all this blame on government who is in Accra. That is why we have this assemblyman, we have district, blah, 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 and it goes all the way before it comes to the president. If assemblyman in the area is not able to see this, and so can report, and then we can go ahead, to check all these things. I don't think these assemblymen are doing any serious work for us. It's so serious. My area where I live in Accra here, electricity, we about 10 houses, 15 houses, we're not having lights. Meanwhile, we have assemblymen living with us. What are they doing? It's so sad to have our own brothers living up there, and this is kind of water they are drinking. It's very sad. Very sad. I mean, come on, sir. Let's do something about this assemblyman thing. If they are not working, they should trash it off.
Thank you, Henry. And we'll be wrapping up the conversation shortly, but I just wanted to highlight some issues. And so, as Henry rightly points out, the assemblymen and women are DCEs and the rest, agents of development when it comes to the grassroots. How are they tackling some of these situations? I went somewhere yesterday and the sanitation, piss poor, horrible. What are the assembly people doing about them? My takeaways from the Savannah region, as Eliasa reported, some girls are even ending up in some men's rooms simply because of the poor water situation. And then we turn around and talk about teenage pregnancy. A gallon of water going for 1 cedi, 50 pesos. And when it comes to, toilet facilities, because of the lack of access to water, it's just at zero. And these are not my words. These are Eliasu's words. It's a conversation that continues, and we thank you for joining in. We take a bit of a break here, and when we return, there's a lot more we are going to be bringing you. But before we go, H2 Solutions is an elite comprehensive IT solutions company in West Africa that provides service-led solutions to corporations both locally and regionally by bridging legacy offerings and emerging services focused on new technology, new delivery models, and new architecture to mid-sized and enterprise businesses. Now, as PMI authorized training partners, we're organizing a project management certificate course for the general public. The crucial dates to note: 24th May to the 4th of June 2021. 24th May to the 4th of June 2021. It's online. You get 3 hours per day, 3 hours per day, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. GMT. The rate is $800 US. Well, it was $800 US. It now is $400 US. So half of it has been slashed just for your benefit. Now, some other key benefits: you earn 35 PDU contact hours and a certificate. You get a contact hours certificate as well. You get to complete your PMP certification training, project management, professional certification training. You get class materials as well. Now, you also get an extensive tool kit of, equipment to equip you as a PM experience instructor. Now, for registration and inquiries, reach out via email, info@H2S Africa. Now, let me let you know that the 2 there is the number 2. So info@H2SAfrica altogether.com. And the website is www.h2safrica.com. You can also reach out via the phone lines 0556 757 549 0556 757 549. An alternative number you can call 0556 647 705 0556 647 705. When we return after the break, we talk security matters and what happened to DCOP Ayensu. That's up next on the AM Show.